Welcome in to the Armchair Podcast. I'm Austin Berkland, and we are so excited to have you. And it is a big time game week. We have Ohio State coming, and we had a win against Purdue, and this is going to be an exciting time for Illini fans. The Illabuck is back up to grabs for the first time since 2017. That's right, 2017. It's been almost 8 years since the last time the Illabuck was battled for, and Illinois has a chance to get it back. This isn't that dominant Ohio State team that you really think of as a number one team in the country, and Illinois is number 17 in the country. So this is a prime opportunity for a big time upset, and a chance for the college football playoff is still in the hands of the Illini, and it is October 7th. I mean, that's kind of wild to think about, and it is an amazing time to be an Illini fan. But Illini fans, the Armchair Illini podcast is fired up to team with Hamilton Walker's Seafood and Spirits, hands down the best dining experience in Champaign-Urbana. We're talking prime steaks, fresh seafood, and a vibe that's perfect after a big Illini win. And here's the game changer. Every single home game, we're giving away a $100 Hamilton Walker's gift card on our social media. That's right, dinner on Armchair Illini. All you got to do is follow Armchair Illini and Hamilton Walkers on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter to get in on the action and experience in Hamilton Walkers, where Champaign-Urbana comes to celebrate. We have a big-time guest for this episode to preview the Illini and Ohio State game and to really talk about Bret Bielema. We've got Ryan Meed, who was on the Illini football team last year and made that huge stop on fourth down against South Carolina in the Cheez-It Bowl. So let's start out with you, Ryan. How are things going with you, and what's the latest on your career?
First of all, thank you so much for having me. It's definitely an honor to be here. Right now, I'm in Canada right now with the Hamilton Tiger Cats of the CFL. So just blessed for the opportunity to continue my playing career here. Just kind of embracing everything that comes with it, and just taking it one step at a time. Super grateful.
What has the CFL been like so far in your young CFL experience?
It's definitely been different. There's a lot of nuances of the game that are a lot different, but it's been really an awesome opportunity. The locker room here is unbelievable. The people, everything surrounding the game has been awesome as well. Just learning a new system, a new game, new people. It's been very, very humbling, but it's also been very, very fun. So
You
all around, just kind of an awesome experience.
you can score 1 point in the CFL, right? How does that work?
Yeah, so I'm kind of getting new to this as well. If you kick the ball and it goes out of the end zone, either to the side or to the back, it counts as a point. So like on like a punt, let's say you kick a punt and it goes out the side or the back, it could count as a 1 point. Yeah.
That
So
is fascinating stuff. Like
yeah,
the American football brain cannot comprehend that. That's pretty
yeah,
amazing.
yeah.
Um, but how has your career gone? How was your time in Philadelphia? I know you got invited to the mini camp. What was that experience like?
Yeah, it's remarkable. Really, it's such a blessing. I mean, just coming off of a Super Bowl, being around that team, Coach Sirianni, just the whole building, being able to see Sid there, that was super cool as well. And then so I had a wonderful camp there, worked out with the Giants as well, and then I had three other workouts, kind of with NFL teams. So it's all around just been a really awesome. Experience just to be in these buildings, but obviously keeping the faith and keeping hope that everything kind of comes together the way that it's supposed to.
You're a pro in football, and there's a lot other Illini that are pros as well in the NFL and in various leagues like the USFL. What has that been like to see all of your former teammates and former alums lacing up in pro leagues around the world?
You see, that's I can't express how much it means to me, because it's like that is when you know somebody's daily routine, when you know somebody's daily grind. Coach B always speaks about journeys, right? We're all on a journey. And being able to be on that journey last year with all of those guys, and then seeing it now, them kind of branch off and going on their own journeys. It's a sort of fulfillment and a sort of pride and a sort of happiness that you can't necessarily put into words. You know what I mean? It's just kind of one of those things that kind of just it's like an all-encompassing feeling of pride and joy, for the people around you, because you saw the struggles, you saw everything that we're going through.
Talking about Bret Bielema and his leadership, what makes him such a great leader of men in terms of the football locker room setting?
Yeah. Um, I can't say enough wonderful things about Coach B. Coach B is I genuinely think it starts with just the person that he is, right? And just kind of everything expands from there. You know, he's very honest. He's built on integrity and respect, and he's just overall just a very good person. He's very understanding, really cares about the needs of his players, really cares, but not only just as like a player, like I can call him up and he'll, there's been many instances I've called him looking for advice or whatever the case is, and he's hit me back right away, and he's the head football coach of, one of the best teams in college football. Like, it's nothing is ever too big for him. He's just one of the most amazing people I've ever met, and just overall, just his care and capacity to care and to love the people that he's impacting. It's really second to none.
What has made him so successful in growing this Illini program to where it was at with Lovie Smith?
Culture. We are a really, really big culture team. Um, you know, we obviously there's in the world of NIL and all of those things, there's a bunch of talent, right? You could buy talent with all that and with the NIL world and everything like that, but you can't buy culture. And he does a really wonderful job of instilling culture, putting people in position to instill that culture, such as like your peer are like my peers and teammates and things of that nature. And I think he really values what it is to be an Illini, and that we're going to play a certain brand of football. We're going to play a certain, we're going to hold each other to a certain standard that other teams, may not do. And that's going to give us the advantage. That's what's going to, be our TSD edge, so to speak. Um, which is, I mean, the proof is in the pudding, right?
Absolutely. Now,
Yeah.
you look at his motto of family.
Hmm.
How did he interact with your family and the families of your teammates to really have them be bought into that program that seems to be his big mantra and his big marketing campaign as an Illini guy, and it's worked successfully so far.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of goes back to just the amazing person that he is, right? So he is somebody of integrity, someone of a great deal of love, and a lot of empathy as well. So he was always just extremely, every time my family, he kind of has like an open facility policy, right? So like my family would come in from Brooklyn, and I'd be able to tour them through and see everybody, and and really kind of immerse them into our family, right? My family into our family. And just like it's always in the nuances, whether it's calling and checking in, or having a conversation, or asking me, hey, how's your mom doing, how's your whatever it is. He just he's very intentional about just like regarding everyone that he's meeting as a family member. You know what I mean? And I think it's very evident that if this person's important to you, and you're one of my guys, and you're one of my people, then they'll be important to me as well. And I think that that creates really real relationships, and um really is something that's kind of unreplaceable in especially in today's kind of world.
How was your transition going from Brooklyn and New York City to small town Champaign in the middle of nowhere in Illinois?
Yeah, so that is a one of one experience. I can definitely that to say the very least. It was remarkable, but genuinely the best thing that I could have ever done. It opened my eyes to so many different ways of life, so many different people. I met my family away from my family, my other family in the Barneses. I Champagne, it's like it's funny now, right? Because like, I started off as this kid from Brooklyn, but now it's like, man, like a big part of me was raised in Champagne. So, um, forever love Champagne, forever love Illinois, and um, yeah, it's it's a special place.
Looking at your defensive coordinator, Aaron Henry, how
Mhm.
have you seen his growth from the time that he first got the job to where he's at today?
Yeah, just, kind of going back to journeys. I think that, just like all of us, he's on a really wonderful journey as well. Every year, look, like i- it's so easy to hold a clicker and be like, well, why'd you call this in this situation and this, that, and the third? But like he would always have us do an exercise when we'd be in the defensive team room, and it would be like kind of right before games, and he would put a guy on the spot, and he would give us a situation on the projector, and he'd be like, okay, call the play. What are we running here? And then you would hear guys and they're stuttering and I don't know, and there's uncertainty, and he goes up, ball snap, plays gone. Like, they just bombed us. He goes, and exercises like that allowed me to see like, dang, it's really, really hard to be a defensive coordinator, especially in the Big Ten, where you have, obviously all the best coaches, in the world, all coaching and competing, to win. So watching him just kind of progress in every year, take steps and take strides in the right direction, growing as a not only as a person but as a coach, and relating to his players, I think has been really really awesome, really really awesome.
A guy on the defensive line currently, Gabe Jacas. What can you say about his
Akis,
Akis? I'm so sorry,
yeah,
Gabe
no, you're
Akis.
good, you're good.
What has been his development like, and what was it like going up against him in practice and being on the same side as him in
Yeah.
practice?
So Gabe's one of my closest friends. And he's like a little big brother, right? And that's the best way to kind of describe him. So just kind of watching his development. The thing with Gabe is Gabe really listens, you know what I mean? And that's something that's really hard because Gabe has all this talent, right? And sometimes really talented people don't take correction very well. But the thing is, like, Gabe is always welcoming correction. Gabe always wants to find an edge. Gabe always wants to be better. And that's why, like, I see all of these awards watch lists and people going crazy about it. And I'm like, dude, I knew this was going to happen just because he does everything correctly. Like, he handles his business. And even when he's like, if he's struggling, whatever the case is, he has the humility to ask, and just so seeing his growth has been, unbelievable. But to bring your point up about like seeing him in practice, I never went against him because, obviously on the same side of the ball,
Yeah,
but I remember it was like I feel like it was like the second or third day in pads, and this was when he was a freshman, and he had a counter come at him, and the counters, it was a GT, so the guard and the tackle pulled, and I just remember it sounded like a car crash, and I was like, "What happened?" And then I went back in the film room and I'm watching it, and I watch him clear his cleats and just level this pulling guard into the tackle, blows up the whole play, makes the play, and I was just like, "That guy's going to be really special if he just continues to just take it day by day and get better and better." So, um, it's beautiful to see the the fruit, him reaping the fruit of his labor.
in the film room, what makes Barry Lunney's offense so hard for a defender like you?
Um, just there's a lot of complexity to it. I think he really utilizes all of his weapons very, very well. I think that he is very, very intentional about, especially putting Luke in really good positions to, be able to control the situation. And he's going to, we always say that there's a weak link in every defense, right? And I feel like he does a very wonderful job at not only identifying it, exploiting it, but exploiting it at the right time. And I think that we've been seeing that kind of this whole year, which has been super awesome to see. He's just a very brilliant football mind, and he's also a really wonderful person too. So it's pretty rare you get both of those, and that's obviously a testament to him and Coach B for also bringing him in and all of those great things.
What's it like seeing Luke Altmyer's leadership in that same locker room as you?
Oh my gosh, it's so wonderful, right? Because it's like, I remember when he came in and he had the pressure of the world on him, and just like first of all, like as a brother in Christ, watching his faith grow, like that was the most kind of apparent thing that that I saw personally, was just watching him grow and grow and grow in his faith and his belief in Christ and all of those things, and then now being able to translate that same confidence and freedom that he found in Christ on the field. you can't ask for a better story. You can't ask for someone more to root for. Like it's just, but it's an accumulation of just really of huge faith, right? Faith in God, realizing that his identity is not in the game, but it's in God, and going out there and performing with the absolute freedom that, you know what, I'm just going to go out here and have fun. And I think so long as he keeps having fun, he's just going to continue to lead that locker room. He's going to continue to bless everybody around him. And, I'm so excited to continue to see him in the way that God's going to work in his life, because I think it's really going to be awesome.
The Armchair Illini podcast is pumped to team up with Campus Inc.'s official Illinois NIL store. Get officially licensed gear from your favorite Illini stars, Luke Altmyer, Terrence Shannon Jr., Kofi Coburn, and many, many more. Support your favorite athletes and rep the orange and blue. Use code Armchair Illini for 15% off today. We are back with Ryan Meed. And Ryan, you look at Hank Beatty, one of Luke Altmyer's favorite targets. What makes Hank Beatty so successful as a Big Ten wide receiver?
Yeah, he's just a lunch pail guy. He's going to come to work every day and be the same guy. He's never going to get too high. He's never going to get too low. He's a classic worker. And he's definitely a guy that, people want to be around, and people want to, follow, because he leads by example, and it's the same routine, it's the same, post practice machine, it's the same, routes on air. Like everything is just so detail oriented, and when you stitch together that much consistency, great stuff is bound to happen. And similar to Gabe, I think he's just, it's beautiful to see him reap the fruits of his labor, because I've seen him work tirelessly for this. And so he's always had it in him. It's just great that everyone else is seeing it now.
What makes for a successful special teams unit?
Um, I think number one, selflessness. You have to be willing to die on the sword, in so to speak, for your brothers. That's definitely the standard of, family, right? Is forget about me, I love you. And I think special teams is the perfect microcosm for that. So I would say definitely selflessness is number one. I think number two is just effort. You can't outcoach effort. You have a guy that, tripped, fell, was in a pile up, the ground's on hot, he's rolling around, this time the third, he's running, and he just keeps running down the field. The guy tries to block him, he shrugs him off, and then he goes and makes a play. Like you can't teach effort and want to. And so definitely those two things. And I think the third thing is I think it's just winning your one-on-one. It's will. I refuse to be stopped by this guy in front of me. I'm gonna win my one-on-one, and I'm gonna change the game, because this is the forgotten, side of the ball. And I'm gonna make them remember it, because of I'm gonna will this into existence, whether it's causing a turnover, or getting a tackle within 20 on kickoff, or you know executing, a hold up that was, held up their best player and gave Hank time to return, like whatever it is. um, just selflessly doing your 111th with maximum effort, and just the will of, like, I'm gonna kick this guy in front of me's tail. I think all of those things kind of combine to the most elite special teams unit in the country.
So Illinois did not have a successful game against Indiana, and
Mhm.
yet they were able to bounce back against USC and Purdue, and now leading up to this against the number one team in Ohio State. Based on your experience with Bret Bielema, with Luke Altmyer, and this defense, what do you think those conversations were like inside that locker room after that Indiana game that led to such a great bounce back performances?
It's so funny, because I think people believe on the outside looking in that there are these, complex and deep and hard conversations, when in reality it's just kind of a rally cry of, like, you know what? Sometimes in life you're gonna get punched in the mouth, right? And we know the character of everyone in that locker room, especially because, we're returning so many guys, we've been playing together for so long. I know the heart and the character of all of those guys. And so when that happened, yeah, it sucked. Dylan Rosiak said, eat a shit sandwich, 100%. But the truth of the matter is we know the team that we are, and we know our coach, and we know that, no, everyone in the outside doesn't matter. It's, did we stop believing in us? And the answer is always no. We're always going to believe in us. And I think that, fans are just seeing just that resilience of, like, we know what it's been like, to be 5-7. We know what it is to be, one score away or one this away. Like, we understand that, and we're not in that time anymore. We know how to win games, and I think that it's just like one of those things where you just kind of put your head back down and you say, okay, time to go to work. Like, this sucked, this stung, but there's so much more.
What are the keys to Illinois prevailing against Ohio State?
Um, it's I think it's very simple, and I don't think it has anything to do with X's and O's and things of that nature. I think it's genuinely embracing the moment that is in front of them. They have an awesome opportunity to go and just have the most fun possible. I know for us last year, toward the end of the year, we really emphasized fun. Like, we know how to play football. We've been playing football since we were little kids, and some of those guys have been playing against those guys. They were from rival high schools or whatever it is. Like, I think it really just comes down to embracing the atmosphere, embracing the moment, not letting it be too big, and just going to have the most fun. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, like, I'm a firm believer in the team that has the most fun will play the most violent, will play the most free, will make the biggest plays. You know what I'm saying? Will out, perform the other team because the other team is so, tense and high strung. And yeah, just go cut it loose. Go have the most fun that you possibly can. Obviously play within the system, listen to your coaches, and I think everything else just kind of falls into place. And I'm super excited to see, the way that they go and they attack. And I'm, regardless of what, I have the pride of Illini in my heart, and I'm just super excited for it to all come together. And, however that does happen.
Speaking of fun, what was it like in that Cheez-It Bowl experience against South Carolina and
Yeah.
seeing Bret Bielema do the T-bar and have Beamer freaking out? What was that like being on that field in that moment?
Yeah, so I mean that's like a perfect example of fun, right? So it's, you know, we are essentially grown men playing a kid's game for a king's ransom, right? So it's just I think that whole trip we really just embraced what being an Illini is, right? We embrace what being, that the team that everyone didn't care for, or wrote off, or didn't even know in the first place. We just embraced it all, and we are just like, you know what? This is going to be the last time we're ever going to all be on the same field together, and we're all going to be able to play with each other. Let's go out here and put a stamp on this season. Let's play for each other, and let's just go cut it loose and have fun. And that was the motto. And I mean, it was unreal. Like, just from it was, from everything happening to, Josh McCray breaking that run to, just everything in between. Like, it was one of the most proud I've been, one of the most proud accomplishments I ever had, but also the most proud I've been of a group of men that came together, you know?
Ryan, I want to thank you for your time here on the Armchair podcast. And where can people find you on socials and follow you and follow your
Uh,
career path?
Yeah, I mean, it's just my name. So on Instagram, I think I'm Ryan.Mead. On Twitter, I'm Ryan Mead 34. Yeah, I'm super grateful and thankful that you allowed me to, come on here and speak about my, my favorite team and my favorite people in the world. So thank you for this opportunity. And yeah, man, go Illini. ILL.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you for your heart and soul to the Illini program as well.
Yes, sir.
This has been the Armchair Illini podcast. As always, follow Campus Inc.'s Illinois NIL store and join that contest for Hamilton Walkers ahead of the Ohio State matchup. This is the Armchair Illini podcast, ILL.
I and I.